Welcome to our Ghost Caught on Camera series. In the run-up to Halloween, we'll be posting a daily video featuring 5 of the best paranormal videos we can find. So lock your doors, hit those lights, and enjoy. The Haunted Daycare. This footage comes from a music school and daycare facility on the east side of New York, recorded by a security camera during the COVID pandemic. The music classes were held upstairs, while the daycare was located in the basement. Brenna, the person who uploaded the footage to Facebook, claims that her sister and her former roommate used to work at the facility, and both the music instructors and the daycare staff disliked going into the basement due to its unsettling atmosphere. Brenna claimed that she had been down there and felt the same thing. Staff complained of hearing voices when no one was down there, and toys were often found rearranged in a circle. This led to the cleaner becoming upset, believing someone was playing a prank on her, but they weren't. Children attending the daycare also spoke about a mean guy who was said to lurk in the play tunnel or hide in the corner of the room. When COVID hit, the daycare shut down, but the owners installed cameras to monitor the empty building. However, they were not prepared for what the cameras recorded. Take a look. After the video was uploaded to Reddit and TikTok, many commenters speculated that the footage had been edited and labelled as a hoax. However, Brenna responded to the skeptics, stating that she could say with 100% certainty that the video was not edited. She argued that no one had the time or skill to alter it. Now, we noticed that the footage was captured just after 3 PM, yet it appears dark, which supports Brenna's claim that it was filmed in the basement. So what do you think's going on here? Did the rat, as many pointed out, knock the toy and make it rock? Was it responsible for knocking off the basket? Or is the basement haunted, perhaps by a poltergeist? What do you think? The Uninvited Guest. This photograph is quite old and was posted to Reddit by user VerieGatedEverything. They explain that the picture was taken when their mother was around 3 or 4 years old. The little girl on the left side of the image is their mother, who has since passed away. On the right side is the mother's older sister. The gathering in the photo includes family and friends at the poster's great-grandparents' home, an old farmhouse located in a rural area. The same family members used to gather there every Sunday after church, a tradition that continued until the older generation passed away and the house was eventually sold. However, what is peculiar about this photo is the presence of a little boy, who can be seen just in front of the older sister on the right. No one in the family could identify this boy, and he did not belong to any of the family members. It's pretty strange. The poster explained that over the years, the family have discussed the photograph and pondered who the mysterious child could be. However, none of them could identify him, as none of the children in the picture had brought a friend. It was just family members present. Although many years ago, the great-grandmother had lost a child in that house. Unfortunately, the poster faced a lot of skepticism from commenters, some insisting that the younger kids were too young to remember anyone from that day, while others suggested that they were trying to create a paranormal narrative from nothing. We find the photograph quite compelling. Everyone in it knew who was at the farm that day and could easily identify all the children present, as they were all family members. The anomaly could potentially be explained by a double exposure in the photo, an unknown child who wandered in from elsewhere, or perhaps the spirit of the deceased child joining the family in spirit form. It's worth noting that everyone who was present that day, and have discussed the event over the years, are sure that the little boy was not physically there. So who was he, and where did he come from? Waverly Hills Sanatorium. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, tuberculosis, known as the White Death, swept across America, killing entire families and devastating towns. Louisville, Kentucky, suffered the highest death rate in the country, as its swampy land provided the perfect environment for the disease. In response to the growing demand for treatment, Waverly Hills Sanatorium opened in 1926, touted as one of the most advanced facilities of its kind. However, despite its modern design, the hospital offered little more than rest, fresh air, and isolation, as no cure existed. Families were separated, children taken from their homes, and patients endured both loneliness and desperate experimental treatments. Some were placed outdoors in the cold winter air, while others underwent painful surgeries that often did more harm than good, and when they did succumb to their disease, their bodies were allegedly transported through a hidden tunnel known as the body chute to shield survivors from the reality of the death toll. While legends suggest that tens of thousands died at Waverly Hills Sanatorium, official records indicate around 6,000 deaths during its operation. The discovery of antibiotics in the 1940s led to a significant decline in tuberculosis cases, which resulted in the sanatorium closing its doors in 1961. It briefly reopened as a geriatric facility, but reports of mistreatment and poor conditions ultimately led to its final closure in 1982. In the following decades, there were several unsuccessful attempts to convert the building into a prison, apartments, or even a large religious site, but by the early 2000s, the once grand structure had fallen into disrepair and became a hotspot for vandals, thrill seekers, and ghost hunters. Stories of hauntings have become part of the sanatorium's legend, including tales of a little girl running through the halls, a boy with a leather ball, a phantom hearse, and a woman with bleeding wrists. Visitors have reported hearing footsteps in empty rooms, witnessing flickering lights, and encountering eerie voices. The kitchen was said to smell of cooking food despite its ruined state, and the cafeteria echoed with footsteps and slamming doors. The fifth floor, particularly room 502, became infamous for tales of nurses' suicides, although no records support these stories. Still, rumours of figures appearing in windows and unexplained voices continue to feed the belief that something tragic occurred there. This is said to be the ghost of former nurse Mary Lee, who allegedly hung herself in the facility after she became pregnant by one of the doctors. Today, its decaying halls and enduring legends ensure its place as one of the most haunted sites in America, where history and folklore blur together. Nowadays, it's visited by thousands of people each year in search of history, architecture, and the paranormal. It was during a paranormal tour in 2007 and 2008 that our next photos were taken, which appear to show some sort of presence in more than one room. The photos were taken by a Reddit user called Not Avenged Ghost, who described Waverly as the creepiest place they had ever visited. People were quick to know that the orange glow could be attributed to a digital camera with a longer shutter speed that caught flashes in the frame while the exposure was happening. However, none of them could explain the dark figures appearing in the back right corner of two of the images. Is that one of the poor souls who lost their life at Waverly Hills Sanatorium? I'd love to know if any of you have ever been to the hospital, and if so, did you experience anything strange there? Ghost at the football stadium. This piece of ghost footage happened in the most unlikely of places, a live football match. In a bizarre moment during a football match at the Hernando Siles Stadium in La Paz, Bolivia, fans were stunned when a ghostly figure was seen darting along the stands just before the home team scored a goal. Take a look. The alleged paranormal event took place during the 91st minute of a Libertadores Cup match between the Strongest and Defensa Sporting. Spectators were astonished when they spotted the mysterious shadowy figure on video, moving rapidly along the curve of the stadium. Although interestingly, matchgoers seemed unaware of the spectre's presence and did not react as it passed by just inches away. It's interesting because if you've ever been to a football stadium, you know there's little chance of running freely through the stands without tripping over something or someone. So was it merely the shadow of one of the players, or as some football fans believe, the ghost of a deceased former player? Some supporters even claim that the appearance of this ghost has put a curse on their club. The haunted painting. Can inanimate objects be haunted? Can a spirit attach itself to a specific item, causing unexplained events? While an artist called Laura believes they can be. In 1994, James Kidd, a commercial photographer, exhibited a photo in Tombstone, Arizona, showing the old stagecoach stop. He captured an unexpected figure, a headless man, standing by a log, which was later confirmed by Kodak experts to be unaltered. Take a look. Laura, an accomplished painter, was intrigued by the eerie image and requested permission to create an oil painting based on the photograph. Once granted, she began working on a 16 by 20 inch canvas in her home in Sierra Vista, Arizona. As she painted, Laura grew increasingly uneasy, questioning her decision to bring the ghostly image to life. Her doubts seemed justified when strange and unexplained occurrences began happening around her home after the painting was completed. When the framed work was displayed at a local business, the staff noticed that the painting was always crooked when they arrived each morning. No matter how often they straightened it, the frame mysteriously shifted again. They also began to experience misplaced papers and scheduling problems that filled the office with unease. Fearing the painting was the cause, Laura eventually removed it. In 1995, Laura and her husband moved to Tennessee, hoping to leave the strange happenings behind. However, the disturbances followed them. Their garage roof leaked every time it rained, despite 3 separate repair attempts. Her husband finally wondered whether the problem was connected to the ghost painting, which was leaning against the wall between the living room and the garage. After they moved it, the leak inexplicably stopped. One evening while preparing dinner, Laura set salt and pepper shakers on the counter. When she returned moments later, she found salt scattered across the bar and floor, although the shaker remained upright and untouched. There were no pets or children in the house to explain it. On another occasion, while sitting in the garage with a neighbour's daughter, they watched as 3 dried starfish hung on the wall until the largest one suddenly detached itself and glided 6 or 7 feet across the concrete floor. A heavy gate later came off its post without any sign of damage to its hardware. During another unsettling moment, Laura and her husband were cooling off in the garage after working in the yard. Her husband prepared drinks in heavy, gold-coloured glasses. As Laura lifted hers to take a sip, she noticed a large piece had broken off the rim. They searched for the missing fragment, but never found it, leaving them both disturbed by the inexplicable event. Laura often photographed her artwork, and one day while showing a picture of the ghost painting to a skeptical woman at a beauty shop, she was met with disbelief. That night, the woman's clock fell from the wall and shattered. Another acquaintance, a neighbour, who wished to show the painting photos to his family, later claimed a series of bizarre events that they linked to the painting. They vowed never to touch it again. The final strange incident came as a loud knock at the front door. Both Laura and her husband heard it clearly, but their dogs remained still and silent. When they opened the door, there was no one there. They believe that all of these strange events are linked to the painting, and it's unclear whether or not they still have it. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow for another volume of Ghosts Caught on Camera.